Hello. This is Disney 67 here, and yeah, so today I'm going to do a review, well, a full-on review of a film that happens to be one of my favorites this year. I'm talking about The Little Mermaid, the one with Halle Bailey, Joan Hurricane, Havar Bardem, and Melissa McCarthy. Now, like I said, I will be going into depth to this movie, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, you probably have seen the movie, but with that said, let's dive into it. So this version is pretty much the same as the 1989 version, except it's on for 2 hours and 15 minutes. So it's a very, very long film. Um, so I did a review before this movie. So if you want to see my review of that film, you can go ahead and check it out. But this is me giving my say what I think about the characters, the songs, what I did like, what I didn't like with the movie, my overall honest opinion. So let's get into what I'm going to say. Okay. So let's start off with the characters in this movie. First up is the leading lady herself, Halle Bailey. I thought she did a very good job as Ariel, in my honest opinion. She really gave it her all. It was actually her movie debut as well, I believe. Sure, she kind of felt out of place, to be honest with you, because the original Ariel was white with red hair, blue eyes, like big blue eyes and red hair. And this version, she's black, and that caused a lot of controversy when it came out back in 2023. And note to self, this movie actually took 4 years to make. I am not gonna lie, it took 4 years to make. So it did. But yeah, overall, despite the fact that Halle Bailey was very kind of like out of space in the movie, she did give her all, and I thought she did a good job as Ariel. Her lead man, John Hurricane. Okay, I may have not brought this up in my last review of this film, but I have to be honest, I thought he did a good job as Eric. I love the fact that not Rob Marshall, actually asked John to keep his English accent because he's actually from England. He's a Londoner. Um, I like the fact that they met Eric. I love the arc that they gave Eric. I love the fact that they gave him more of a story compared to the first one. Because in the first one, he was a hopeless romantic who wanted to find a woman, and that was it. In the new one, however, he wants to explore the world. He wants to find a mysterious girl who saved his life. He's a hoarder like Ariel, so that's why the two of them get along a lot better than in the cartoon one. But yeah, I thought he did a good job as Eric. His singing voice, however, is very, very good as well. Like he really gave it his all. And I can see a bright new career for him. He's actually a good actor. So kudos to John Hurricane. Not to mention he's very handsome as well. So yeah. Miss McCarthy. This woman stole the entire movie for me. I mean, I always liked Melissa McCarthy, right? I liked her in Bridesmaids. She was hilarious in that. She was hilarious in The Heat, The Spy. What's the film she was in? Life as You Know It, which is the first film I actually saw her in. She was also in the Gilmore Girls as well back in the early noughties. She's a very funny actress, and she really surprised me. I love the fact that her Ursula was more kind of cunning and manipulative, and she gets what she wants. Yeah, I thought she did a very, very good job in that movie, so kudos to her. Her alter ego, Jessica Alexander. Can we talk about her? I mean, she is like the hybrid of Amber Heard meets Megan Fox with a tiny bit of Scarlett Johansson, but she looks more like Amber Heard. And I kept saying to myself, is this Amber Heard in an English accent? Because she looked like Amber Heard, in my honest opinion. But I thought she did a good job as Vanessa, even though she had 5 minutes of screen time, and that was it. And it was a bummer because she actually just nailed that performance. Like, she was seductive, she was evil, she was manipulative, she was just a pure maniac. And I thought she did a good job as Vanessa. Havar Bardem. Okay, this guy really surprised me because I'm not really a fan of the guy. I didn't see much of his movies. All I know is he was in Skyfall as a villain. He was in No Country for Old Men. He was also in the Pirates of the Caribbean 5 with Johnny Depp, and his wife Penelope Cruz is in the fourth one of Pirates of the Caribbean, which was directed by Rob Marshall. Yeah, I thought he did a good job as Triton. I like the fact that he cares more about Ariel than the other sisters. But speaking about the other sisters, I'll get to them in a bit. But yeah, I like how he, that he was very worrying. like he's very worried about Ariel and how she's going to, I guess it's because that she resembled his wife, I presume, and that's why he's more obsessed with her, I guess, because he wants her to be safe, and he wants her to be happy, he wants her to be heard. But yeah. Okay, can we talk with another live action? Oh yeah, Grimsby. I love Grimsby in this version. He's played by Art Malik. He was in Homeland, and I thought he did a good job as Grimsby. I love the fact that he's like the matchmaker this time compared to the cartoon one, where the cartoon one he was pushing. He was saying to Eric, "Oh, you have to get married," like, and Eric was like, "Oh, Grimsby, don't start." But I like the fact that in this one, he's more like the father figure that Eric never had. I thought he did a good job actually. I loved Grimsby in this version compared to the cartoon one. Queen Selena, played by Noma Doharski. I don't know how her surname is. I'm sorry. She did a good job as well as the Queen. She actually adopted Prince Eric when he was a kid, baby, and I get to the negatives later on in this in depth of this film. But she did a good job as well. I thought she did a good job as the Queen of wherever this place is set. Is the Caribbeans or something? I guess it's the Caribbeans. She did a good job as well. So kudos to her. The sisters, they were good as well, but I'm not gonna lie, there was one of the sisters, and I swear to God, she was like an AI. She looked fake. I mean, it was like she was just like copy and pasted into the underwater segment, and that was it. She didn't look real at all. There's another girl like Kirsten Bell, I believe. I don't know why, but she kind of did remind me of her. Um, but I'll get to all the negatives later on in this review. What else? Any other ones? Only characters I can talk about. Alright, okay, moving on to the sidekicks. Sebastian, Flounder, and Scuttle, who were played by David Diggs, who plays Sebastian, voice Sebastian. Flounder was voiced by Jacob Tremblay when he was like, 13 or 14, because the movie, like I said, took 4 years to make. And Awkwafina as Scuttle. David Diggs and Awkwafina, by the way, stole this movie as well. I mean, they were hysterical. Like, I love the fact that Awkwafina, Scuttle, was so stupid. Like, you tell her to do such a thing, and Eric Sebastian's like, "Oh, I'm a dead crab." And she's like, "Sorry." But yeah, their dynamic was just spot on. I loved those two together, and yeah, sure, the character design for for the animals was really really creepy, but still, I liked it. I had no faults to it. Um, Songs. Okay, there is a ton of songs in this movie, and there's one song that should be in the movie at all because it just was just there just for the sake of it. But I'll get to that in a minute. All the original songs are there, like except for Daughters of Triton and Le Poisson by Chef Louis. Why was it submitted? I don't know. Maybe because it's got to do with Peter rights. I haven't got a clue. But I thought it was good. The songs were good. My favorite song in the movie, if I have to be honest, is For the First Time. I cannot get the song out of my head since the 19th of May. I've heard that song a billion times. Wild and Church of Water is another one, which is sung by what you call it? It's sung by Joan Hurricane. I thought he did a good job as well. Um yeah, and I like the Parts of the World reprise as well, which is sung by Halle Bailey. Like her singing voice is like a siren's. Like you just listen to her singing voice, and it's just like a siren, like calling for you. She's got a very beautiful singing voice. I must say that. Um, yeah, I liked all the songs except for one, which is a Scuttlebutt song. I absolutely hated that song. It was just, it should have been there in the first place, like they should have done like about 6 songs and that was it, because there's way too many of them, and it's either in one ear and out the other. But some of them the new ones were passable. I liked those songs. Um, okay, can we talk about the negatives? Okay, let's talk about the negatives. Okay, first up, the costumes. Okay, don't get me wrong, right? I loved Halle Bailey's blue dress. I thought that was very pretty. Jonah's costumes were nice too, but the lack of them is just terrible. I mean, all Halle Bailey wore in this movie, by the way, bear in mind, was 2 dresses. if you don't count the sack dress. So like she wore the sack dress after becoming a human. Then she wore a blue dress. Then she wore the same dress again at the end of the movie, and then she wore the pink dress with the hair like that, like Ariana Grande. And I'm like, okay, she's going through an Ariana Grande phrase now. Okay. And same with Jonah as Prince Eric. He had no costumes at all, like only two of them. So he had one with the creamy pants, the red socks, or the red band, whatever you call it, the white shirt that's opened half the time, and like a waistcoat, and that was it. And then you see him later on with like a jacket and kind of like this frilly thing, it's like a scarf, and that's all you see that he wears throughout the entire movie. Um, yeah, like I loved Vanessa's dress, like the girl Jessica Alexander. Her purple dress was fab. I just loved that. That was lovely. But yeah, the costumes, I kind of wanted more of a costume change for Halle Bailey. I was disappointed that she didn't have much dresses. Like, for example, with the ending where like she becomes human the second time and she wore the blue dress, like I said. And I thought she'd be like wearing a sparkly dress in the end. But no, she just wore a tattered blue dress probably smelled like seaweed and piss and poo from the fish. And that's it. I'm like, I wouldn't wear that dress. But yeah. What else? Also, the CGI for this movie, like the underwater segments, can be a hit and miss. Like it can be very, very fake at times, especially underwater scenes. So I don't think it's going to win an Oscar for visual effects at all. If it gets an award for Oscars, I'm talking about probably the songs might get an Oscar nominated. Visual wise, it won't get visual wise at all, I'm afraid. But still, though, I thought the rest of the visuals were fine. Um, yeah. Also, this movie, like I said earlier on, is on for 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it can be somewhat long. Like they should have just cut the butts on, and limited the movie for like an hour and 56 minutes, and that's it. Besides adding on more filter after filter after filter, like in every Disney remake that came out in the past. Um, but yeah, I thought it was passable. Um, Anything else? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, but yeah, I did love the movie. I thought it was a very, very good film. Um, but yeah, like it was a good film. I really enjoyed it. Like the story was very good. The cast was very good. Like I said, the songs were nice as well. Um, what else? Oh yeah. Okay, backstory of Eric. So do you know the way in the remake that Eric is actually adopted by Queen Selena? And you do hear that they did get adopted, and that was it. There was not a mention about it ever again. I thought I'd be getting like a flashback of Eric when he was a baby, and we realized that he was like a merman or something. That's why he loves the sea so much. Because in my head, and this is a theory by the way, I have in my head that he is probably a merman that got transformed into a human by Triton, who like found him when he was a baby, and that's why he loves the sea so much. Like I said, I could be wrong, but there you go. That's my theory of the movie about Eric. Um, but yeah, oh yeah, the chemistry. Okay, I forgot about the chemistry with the two leads. Some people said it was forced. It was forced. More people said it was okay. For me, I thought it was a good. I liked their chemistry. I actually bought them as a couple. Um, Despite the fact that he's a white guy and she's a black woman. But there you go. But I thought they did a very, very good job. Their chemistry was like up there with Lily James and Richard Madden, or what you call her, or Naomi Scott and Mina Masood. They're definitely up there with them. From the Disney live action remakes. Anything else I can say before I wrap up this review? This in-depth review. Um, oh yeah, forgot to mention. In the beginning of the movie, there is a quote from Hans Christian Andersen saying mermaids can't cry, but humans can, or whatever. And she actually cries in the end of the movie, marking that she's now a human, which sounds very, very clever. Um, And also there's a lot of references as well to the original source of Little Mermaid, the story wise, where Scuttle says to Sebastian, "Oh, has Ariel killed the prince yet?" And Sebastian's like, in horror, "Killed? You mean kiss, you barbarian?" But yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a good movie. Sure, it's got some flaws, but every movie has flaws. Sorry. Well, yeah, I still give it 9 out of 10 and 4.5 out of 5 stars. I still loved it, and yeah, if you haven't seen the movie, do check it out. It's on Disney Plus next month. Well, a few weeks from now, actually. I think it's just 3 weeks. I think it's coming out. Yeah, this day 3 weeks coming out on Disney Plus. So we have Disney Plus. Do check it out. The 5th of September. It's a very good movie. It's definitely my favorite film of 2023 by far, or of this year. It's very very good. I saw it 5 times. And I thoroughly enjoyed it every viewing. So yeah. Um, looks like no one actually saw my live stream. But yeah, that's pretty much all I'm gonna say. And stick around for more videos I'm gonna make before the end of the year. And yeah, thanks for watching. Take care.